Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we've got a very exciting video, for me at least. So I had something pretty interesting happen. Luckily I recorded it a few days ago. So just take a quick look at that. So I decided to pull one primal shard as I've got recorded here. And the result's pretty good. I'll play it without sound just because it's mostly me screaming. It's pretty, every time I watch it, I get more excited. Not only is it the fact that it's a mythic, which is awesome because I've only opened 10 in total, but it is Hierophant Lazarius, the best, his ult, according to Hell Hades, is one of the best mythics in the game. He got a pretty cool transformation animation as well. So his ult is an attack, and I'll be building him for damage. Because he can be building him for damage, you get more value because he's also got attacks on his normal. So I haven't built him much. He comes 6 stars. The magic keep hasn't been open like while I've been farming, so I haven't been able to ascend him. Just got some dodgy gear on because silver's so hard to get. So we'll go. Base form will start off 33 or 32,000 HP, 2.2k attack, and 1.6k defense. 161 speed, which is pretty good, especially since I struggle with speed. 64% crit rate, and 165% crit damage. So if we move it here, it goes down to 159 speed, 1.4k attack, defense, 28,000 HP, but 2.6k attack, which is a 400 increase, which is pretty good. I don't have enough armor to fully level him, but I will test him out for a few things for you. I tested him out a tiny bit without gear earlier. He's pretty rocking. He's pretty good. I really like him. I think he should be able to farm this one solo. The amount of damage he deals. So we've got him on his base form, and we've got his passive. We'll look through his skills here. So we've got passive effect. At the start of this champion's turn, places a perfect veil and a 50% increased accuracy buff on them for 2 turns. Also, this champion receives 3% less damage for every 750 attack they have, stacks up to 30%. So that's why beefing his attack is really just the best thing to do. Active effect. At the end of this champion's turn, revive a random ally with 50% HP and 50% turn meter. Also places a perfect veil buff on the revived ally for 2 turns. So that's on a 3-turn cooldown, not the top bit, only the bit where it revives. Which means he is a reviver without even needing to use a skill to revive. Then you've got Metamorph, which 4-turn cooldown transforms this champion into their alternate form, then gets an extra go. You've got fills the turn meters of all allies by 20%, also decreases the turn meters of all enemies by 20%. Now that's twice as good as Deacon Armstrong's skill. And he is an incredibly common champion, or not common as in, but he's widely used through late game players. He's a very, very good champion. Then you've even got places a 50% increase attack buff and a 75% strengthen buff on all allies for 2 turns. That can be booked down, I think, to 3 turns. Most of his skills are 3-turn cooldowns when fully booked. That's amazing. Like, that's absolutely a smacking skill, because that's technically a 40% turn meter increase. Then we have Nest of Vipers. This is a very good skill for Spider, or anywhere where debuffs and buffs are important. Attacks all enemies. Before attacking, places a block debuffs buff on all allies for 2 turns. Also decreases the duration of all buffs on all enemies by 2 turns. After attacking, places a block buffs debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. That is similar to Sun Wukong's skill, except instead of stealing, it just removes all buffs from the target, then places block buffs, and then places a block debuffs buff on all allies. That is a very, very nice skill. Like, a very nice skill. Because it means it removes all buffs, basically. And which is especially handy because of his other skills. Monkey is a nuker, right? Sun Wukong is a nuker with this skill, which is mostly his best skill, right? And then his other skills deal damage, but it's his only specialist skill. Whereas this guy's got turn meter fill, revive, increase attack, and now remove all buffs from enemies. And then his A1's pretty good as well. Attacks one enemy. Places a shield buff on the ally with the lowest HP for 2 turns. The value of the shield is proportional to this champion's attack. It does not say that it cannot place it on him. So let's metamorph. So I can look at his skills. So he's got passive effect. At the start of this champion's turn, it places a 50% increase attack buff and a 30% increase crit damage buff on them for 2 turns. Would be better if it was crit rate. But still, active effect increases the cooldown of all enemy skills by 2 turns whenever this champion kills an enemy. If this champion kills 2 or more enemies in a single attack, this effect will only activate once. This effect cannot be resisted. That's a 3-turn cooldown. So that means he basically, if he kills an enemy with his nuker skill, which is likely because he nukes quite hard, he basically fully increases. 2 turns is quite large. Like, not many. By the time you get those cooldowns back, you're dead. So that's a good skill. He's really good against Stone Skin as well. And then so you got attacks one enemy 2 times, will ignore any ally protection, strengthen, and shield buffs, as well as 30% of the target's defense. Before attacking, steals 50% of the target's turn meter. This effect cannot be resisted. So it doesn't sound that great, like compared to people like Georgid who ignore ally protection, strengthen, shield, Stone Skin, 100% of defense, increased defense, all of it. But it's got a nice multiplier. And also steals 50% of the target's turn meter. That basically means that he gets an extra go. Then we've got attacks all enemies, will ignore shield and increase defense buffs. Before attacking, removes all debuffs from this champion. Increases this attack damage by 15% for each debuff removed. If no debuffs were removed from this champion, increases this attack damage by 15% for each ally alive instead. Damage based on attack. Then we have his final skill. Attacks one enemy 2 times. The first hit increases this champion's attack by 3%, stacks up to 30%. Second hit decreases 3% of the target's attack or defense, or destroys 3% of their max HP, depending on their type, stacks up to 30%. This effect does not work against support types. So, let's start with his AoE. Boom! 46,000 damage is pretty nice, especially for this. So, got increased attack. Let's do his steals turn meter, and then bang, bang. That's some nice solid damage. Then the spiderlings will get a go. Oh no, he'll get a go. So he'll attack. And then 2 more spiderlings. Oh no. Spiderlings are always way too fast, in my opinion. So we'll metamorph. He'll take a bit of damage. And then he will wipe them all out and place block debuffs. And then shield. So he's got block debuffs, so the spiderlings can't do anything. Although it doesn't really matter because he's got such high damage. Boom. And then he resists a few of them. Oh, some of them. His reality shift is quite handy though, because it reduces incoming damage. I don't know if he'll win this. The only reason is because of the fact that the poisons deal a lot of damage. Like, he might die from this one. Nope. Yeah, so he died from the poison. But if he had a healing thing on him, like 331,000 damage is pretty good. He can solo the first stage easily. It's mostly just because I don't have much health or anything on him. If we can get him to probably solo hard easily. Only problem is he doesn't have an aura, which would help a lot. but who cares? He does so much damage anyway. And since he's got his Metamorph, he's got 2 AoEs, which is really handy just for finishing waves. Boom! Increased cooldown. That's a very nice skill. Lovely damage there. It's just, he's actually an incredibly cool champion as well. Let's see if I can, you can zoom in. Then we've got Metamorph. And another AoE. So he is a very nice champion. Like, an amazing champion. So the stats you want to focus on, like you want, like, so I'll show you the speeds I've got here. We'll just use his base form because it's easier. Oh no, we'll use his alternate form because we'll be using that more. So you want lots of attack, obviously. And then, crit damage and crit rate. You need 100% crit rate. Nice high crit damage, but focus on attack and speed until you've got like a nice 4,500 attack, because until you got that, crit damage doesn't actually add that much more damage. You could have more accuracy just from the fact that his base form doesn't get any extra accuracy. So you want a bit of accuracy if you're going to use him for his decreased turn meter and decreased buff duration. But if you're just using him for a nuke, then it shouldn't matter. Oh, he does have an aura. Increases ally speed in all battles by 25%, which is a really, really good one. Like a nice, good skill. Just in general, we'll put a shield on him here. You got the best thing to do when you're finding artifacts, just a quick tip, is to, pardon me, use the filter. So just click filter and you can like find shields, rank and rarity, like 6 stars, substats, speed, crit rate, and crit damage. Nothing with that, so I'll get rid of the crit damage. And what set do we want? We will put legendary. So the thing is, you want legendary is good, right? Because you get lots of rolls. But another problem with it is that you may get no rolls on what you want. Whereas if I were to upgrade this, right, I would guarantee get a roll on at least one thing I want. Crit rate. That's exactly what I want. I want that more than I want speed, so that's good. So now his crit rate is 76%, and if we can get that to roll crit rate and this to roll crit rate again, then you get like quite a lot. But yeah, it's good. The problem with mythics, right? Look, you got his books ignore resistance, 20%. So you need less stuff. But since he's got 2 forms, right? This form has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books. And then if you're going to book both forms, so that's 5 books. And then that's another 5 books. So that's 10 mythical skill tomes, which is a lot of mythical skill tomes. Interesting. So you got Stone Skin and then Protection, which looks exactly the same. But like, you got to choose which one to book. So if you're using him for a nuker, obviously you'll book this one. If you're using him for a debuffer, you'll book this one. Then you've also got masteries. I'm not a great mastery, but I'd go down this one. If I was going to use him for arena, I'd probably do Helm Smasher. Put pinpoint accuracy so that he gets his increased turn meter and attack, unless he's your only nuker on your arena team. But yeah, so that's about it. Yeah, it's just so satisfying. Look at that movie. It seems childish, but like that red bit, you know, it's just so hard to get mythics in this game. except for some people who get them really easily. So, we'll go here. We've got Hell Hades. We'll search up Lazar for Lazarius, and it'll show us how many stars he's got. So his base form has 4.5 stars, which is actually quite good. Most legendaries generally have 3.5, which is surprising because they're actually supposed to be legendary, right? Like, they're not supposed to be, like, bad quality. But, he's good at Hydra, Doom Tower, Hard Dragon, Dark Fae, and Arena. You swap him over. 5 stars. It doesn't change the image because that's too complicated. But you've got 5 stars at both spiders, hard mode and normal. You've got 5 stars at Dark Fae, 5 stars at Arena, 5 stars at Doom Tower. He's good at Hydra and Clan Boss. 10 out of 10 book value, A2 and A3 priority, obviously. So, his multipliers are incredibly good. So this one, 2.5, I don't know why that's, like, absolutely amazing. But apparently it's, you can see that, like, the ratings along the side. Oh, that disappears. But he's actually pretty good. Base form masteries. You do War Master and that tree. Alternate form, like I said, Helm Smasher. Oh yeah, you do this one for his alternate form. I'd like to know, do they have different masteries per form? They must. So that's PvE. PvP masteries, you got base form Debuffer. You wouldn't even do offense, and then alternate form, again, you go down Helm Smasher. Alternate form accuracy, though, you'd do Helm Smasher, but you'd have the support tree instead of the most. You want Phantom Touch if you've got 1 to 4 star Soul, and then 5 to 6 star Crushing Rend. Although I honestly think, like, Soul Collection, this is my Soul Collection, you got almost nothing, that by the time, like, it's so hard to get a good Soul for a Mythic that it's not even worth it. Oh, it is worth it, sorry, I'll phrase it differently. But, like, don't bother too much about, like, what Soul you put on them, like, depending on how hard the star is, because the likelihood of getting a 6-star Mythic is just so low, it's ridiculous, like, absolutely ridiculous. Oh well, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, share with your friends. Join, if you're new to Raid, join via my link in the description below. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.